And today we've got some footage to talk over while we do our build review. So I'm just going to play a little bit of footage in the background, and then we'll talk about the build. Tarke, much love to you as a trap playstyle lover. I adore your content and how you manage to make traps feel meta. I never did that, but fair enough. I like traps. Traps are good. Play more traps. I was inspired by my love for trap builds to try a totem trapper build. I'd love to get your opinion on it. I managed my first ever Cirrus kill, what we're watching here, on my first try with this build. I've never done a self-made build before, and I'm very content with how it turned out. The PB I have for it was made in a guide format and has many notes and a few leveling skill trees. Would love for you to critique it as well as give any tips, changes on the build, and how I made the guide in POB. And then he gives you links to the profile, and so on and so forth. I will leave a link to his video down below, so you could look into it in depth if you want to. He does a pretty in-depth guide, and links his Cirrus skill in here. The idea of his build is he is using Bladeful Totems to do some Bladeful damage and spam Bladeful everywhere. And then he's got Blade Blast traps to trigger the blades from the Bladeful Totems. I'm not entirely sold on the Blade Blast trap aspect of it. I think maybe just self-casting the Blade Blast would be cool. But the idea of having the totems starting the Bladeful and then either you or the traps doing the Blade Blast, I'm actually fine with it. I think it's kind of a cool novelty, and we'll look into how he set up the skill tree and everything. But from the get-go, I think it's a pretty interesting setup. So let's have a look at what he came up with. So we'll look at the skills, look at the items, and then we'll double back at the tree. So he's gone Scion, and oh, damn, the thing broke there. That's annoying. I'm guessing he went Hierophant with additional totem, and then, ooh, wait, no, never mind. That was the wrong tree. Okay, here we go. It was Hierophant and Sap, my bad. So he's going Hierophant with additional totem, and the little bit of extra Mind of Matter, 8% there. And then Saboteur for the area, which affects both his Bladeful and his Blade Blasts. Pen, but I'm guessing is pure Fizz. And then he's getting the regen from the trap, so he's getting 10% regen and chance to blind enemies on hit. Okie dokie. So that seems a little bit odd, but anyway, so this is the tree. Let's look at the skills, we'll look at the items, and we'll double back to looking to the tree, all this other stuff. Okay then. Enfeeble, cost damage taken, increased duration, and mortal cool. Yep, that's fine. Obviously, you'd eventually get 20/20 and increased duration. But yeah, it's fine. Precision, just for the correct chance, maybe the accuracy. I guess the accuracy helps with the shield charge, proccing a fortify. I'm probably gonna drop that. I think it's the best use of the mana, especially since this is a Mind of a Matter build. Unless there's a Precision Watch design in the build, that isn't. I'm gonna drop that. A Enlighten, Clarity, Discipline. Fair enough. Flame Dash, faster casting, Frost Wall. Huh. I would run Second Wind on Flame Dash. I'd also, you have enough dexterity, I'll just run Dash over Flame Dash, because Dash just feels better in my opinion, but personal preference. Stormbrand, Power Charge on correct Culling Strike. Fair enough. And then Blade Blast, Trap and Mind Damage. Why is it only a 3-link? I'm guessing there's a link missing here. Bladeful, Control Destruction, Multi-Totems, and Power Conk Effect Brutality. Okay. So then Trigger Socketed Skill 1, so the weapon was the Stormbrand is automated from the wand. Okay. And it's got +1 to Fizz all. It's got some crit because it's a crit build. It's fine. It's fine. The shield +1 to all Fizz, a little bit of life, a little bit of crit. It's fine. Crown of the Inward Eye, solid since he's got a good amount of mana and a bit of ES scaling in the build as well, so he's gaining some damage from the Crown of the Inward Eye. Makes sense. Soul Mantle, because he's doing the totem stuff, it gives the additional +1 totem. Fair. He's got a pair of Trap Blind +1 level of socketed gem gloves. So, assuming they're a 4-link, the trap makes it a 5-link, and then it gets the +1. Fair. Blind is just additional chance to blind, which is solid. Boots, life, movement speed, and resist that you're missing. Yep. The leech enchant obviously doesn't do anything for him because he isn't leeching. And then a crit multi Ami, 2 Kikuzaris because he's a soul mental build. And then a solid just life mana Stygian Vise. Okay. Right, I don't think Sanctum of Thought is worth the 6 points, so I'm going to cut that. I actually think Sanctum of Thought is worth taking if you're right next to it and you've got the points to spare, but I wouldn't take it for 6 points. Your totem stuff, so Totemic Zeal, Battle Rouse, I agree with. See, the kind of awkward issue you have is because you're scaling both totem stuff. You don't really scale traps at all, you just happen to have traps in your build. But because you're scaling with totems, you're only scaling half of your damage. So if I was to make a Bladefall Totem Blade Blast, either self-cast Blade Blast or Blade Blast traps or whatever, you kind of want to have it so that you're scaling all of your damage at the same time. So any nodes you're putting into totems is only scaling the Blade Falls, and it's not scaling the Blade Blast at all. So that just feels a bit rough. I'm fine with taking Totemic Zeal because the placement speed is quality of life, but I feel like taking Primal Manifestation, that I'm not 100% on. I understand we did it, but I'm not 100% on it personally. You then come up this way. You take a Mind of Mana, because you're doing Mind of Mana stuff. Kind of sucks not to come into Templar Start, also kind of sucks not to fill in all the Psalm Life Cluster. Come through this way, reading through the mana, reading through the ES, getting Perfection, Deep Thoughts, Crawl Prep, Shaman's Dominion, and the Cluster Jewel there. I don't think that's really worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for just the mana. Not really worth, in my opinion. Then you got the life, the crit, then you jump to Shadow Start to get some decks, which you need. Some attack and cast, some crit multi. Okay, so things that I would be tempted to do. I'd be tempted to drop the trap package. You could actually go full Blade Blast Trapper. I actually think that would be fine. You can either reduce effective curses on you, otherwise the setup doesn't work. I know that the 20% reduced curse effect, like, people can run it without, but, like, if you want to keep that there, that's fine. But then at least take Devotion or something. Like, if you're gonna keep, you could always just anoint it as well, because it's not worth the points. It's not worth 6 points. You can also get reduced curse effect on you on a couple of random mods. The Trap Anoint doesn't actually matter, Clever Construction. The reason why Clever Construction doesn't matter is traps are immune to damage while flying through the air. Once they're on the floor, they are susceptible to damage. While they're flying through the air, they're immune. And that's another reason why doing the whole trap thing is a bit... And yes, with currency, you could always use Zero's Reflection, but, you know, it's kind of a meme at this point. The tree, I might remake the tree. I'm not 100% sold on the tree. What is he using? Using a Doriani Voldual, which is how he's getting the ES. Because it's giving him his life as ES. Oh, sorry. Okay, just out of interest, I just want to see how I would root it. And let's take Barrows. Annihilation. I'd probably take all that AoE scaling. I'd be tempted to go Necro and get the Bone Offering affects you, and then go for a Kevlava Jewel. And then go Block Cap. That'd be something that I would consider doing. 1, 2, 3. Go that way, that's fine. I don't know if I would use that. And then maybe I'd come across into like Will of Blades, Fangs of the Viper. Maybe I would change the routing instead of going with 1, 2. Maybe I would go with 1, 2. Take the jewel. Like that. Maybe I do something kind of like that. I don't know. Right. I don't know if I'd go for the totem. Like, I don't have an issue with using the totems. So I feel like I'd maybe use the totems more just as a utility rather than a pure DPS source. Let's compare. So you didn't take Annihilation. So I didn't fill in any sentences. I would go for Hierophant. If I'm doing the tome stuff, I would take Hierophant plus something. And I feel like Blade Blast is the majority of your damage. Because it's like, when you stack all the blades, you get that big explosion. That's the main juice you kind of want to go for. What am I missing out on? Oh yeah, you root through the mana on a build, obviously. Whoops, my bad. Bladefall is currently 2/3 of your damage. Yes, but that's because you've scaled the totems. So it's a bit because you're scaling the you've kind of you've skewed the scales in a way because you're putting because you've scaled the totems, right? That's where most of your damage is coming from. Whereas if you went for like a more generic tree and you went more like even across the board, I think you'd probably get more damage out of the Blade Blast. So you need the Pain achievement there for the conversion with the Glorious Vanity, and then Arcane Vision as well if you had a decent node that hit both. And then if you're taking the ES scaling as well, you maybe take Soul Thief, but no. That's a 95 tree. Tens there to get Shaman's Dominion, last levels of Ancestral Bond. See, I realised I've just completely changed the core fundamentals of the build, which probably isn't what I should be doing. I kind of like this routing though, thus the traps. Yeah, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. Is there a neat way that we can do his routing to get Sanctum of Thought, Devotion, maybe rather than coming along this way, going along that way? Let's look at the gear. Let's look at the gear again. Obviously, if you're sticking with the totems, Shaman's Dominion is a huge crit chance for the totems. It's increased global crit if you summoned a totem recently. I'm just not entirely sure about. I'm not entirely sold on the whole totem thing. That's the issue I have. This is Hierophant and Saboteur. If you're sticking with the trap totem, then that's the way to go. I would definitely take Fangs the Viper for 1 point, because it's giving you damage, it's giving you dex, it's giving you movement speed. 20% damage for 1 point, 5% movement speed, 20 dex, solid. I'd take that. I don't necessarily know if you need to root out the side here, especially if you take that, because that will solve any dex issues. So I'd be tempted to go through those nodes. Rooting out the side is fine. I root out the side of a lot of shadow builds these days because it's not the best. So if you want to root out the side, that's completely fair enough. It feels a bit weird to jump to it to do that when you could instead just like come along the outside and then grab Mind Drinker and the Jewel, which is what I did on this tree. I definitely don't think this Cluster Jewel is doing anything for you. I think this Cluster Jewel, if you're going to go for a Cluster Jewel, go for it, but just doing one small, nah. That we can get rid of. That's fluff. So then, if you're doing the rooting you had here, that's 3 points. Instead, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And that's 1 extra point, then you gain access to Resourcefulness, Lethal Assault. Or you could go drop those 3 points and go 1, 2, 3, gain access to a 2-point Jewel. And then access to Mind Drinker. Cluster Jewel broke the 4k mana for the spell damage notable. Yes, but then you could have instead just take Mystic Bulwark, which is 20% mana and 8% spell block, which is really strong. You could also take Soul Siphon. You could also take Mind Drinker, because this is 20%, 26%, 30. That's 34% mana for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, and that was 4, 8, 14. Yeah, 34. 34 divided by 6 equals 5.6 mana per point. 5.6 mana per point isn't very good. So instead of taking 5.6 mana per point, you could instead get 20% there, and then you could get 26% there, which is 46 for 4 points. So that and that is more mana than that, and it's 2 less points. So I would go for Soul Siphon and Mystic Bulwark. So that's 4.4k mana. That's 4.3k mana. 115 points. 113 points. So this is more mana for less points. So if you just want mana, you can just do that. And you're also getting the spell block, which is really nice. You're getting the mana regen, which is really nice. And you're getting the mana on kill, which doesn't affect you because your totems and the traps are killing, not you. But like that's just more efficient mana per point. And you can also take this node, which is 10% mana and 10 flat mana, which is really good if you're just trying to stack mana. But yeah, so I would definitely go that way around rather than going for the Cluster Jewel. And I would probably drop those 3 points instead, go 1, 2, 3, and shove a 2-point Jewel in there. Especially since that node isn't giving you anything because it's being hit by the Vol Jewel, so it's bricking that node. So now you've got an 87 tree with an extra Jewel Socket. Jewel Sockets are powerful. Just gonna flip it so that way it looks a bit prettier. And then you can also take access to Mind Drinker, another 26 for another 2 points, which is really good. If you're just trying to scale the mana as high as you can. So you got 4.8k mana, an 89 tree, and you've gained a Jewel. I might not necessarily like cut up your tree super harsh. I would definitely go for Annihilation though, because your crit chance is pretty trash. So your crit chance is lucky. It's only 30 base is rough. So I would root through that instead, and then cut those 2 points. Sure, that's scaling you some ES, which is then also scaling you some damage because of Crown of the Inward Eye. But your crit chance isn't that great. I know these are only 20% nodes, so they're not the best, but still I'd rather go that way around than a 91 tree. I kind of feel like you're scaling too many things. I'd be tempted to focus on I'd be tempted to drop the ES aspect and focus just on the mana. It's exactly enough dex at level 2 on Bladeful and Blade Blast. Need diving upgrades. Well, with this way around, you've got 180 dex, so you're fine. Taking Fangs of the Viper. If you are sticking with the scaling, the ES as well, then also Resourcefulness is an amazing 2 points because it gives you life, it gives you energy shield, so, and also gives you all res, which makes your stat requirements a lot cozier. So I would take those points. That was my fresh tree. Let's read it around the outside. That looks prettier. It gains spell damage from the ES. Yeah, I know it does. Should have Arcane well in. Is there a way to route around the outside to get to Sanctum of Thought and Devotion? I feel like it's an anoint. Can we see if we can get... Alright, I know that on jewelry, you can get a void curse. Not a void, reduced effective curse. Can you also get reduced effective curse on... Where's the other place to get, like, chests or something? Damage reduction. Attributes. Helm, I think. There's another source of getting it. You would then have to give up your Crown of the Inward Eye, which isn't the best. So curse gems. Curse items. Yeah, Shaper has reduced effective curses, which is less than what you get on Kukuzari's. Crusader's got a 35%. So if you had 2 of those, that would be 70%. To be honest, I probably would take... I'd be tempted to take the Crusader. I know it's, like, messing with the build pretty heavily. I'd be tempted to take having some curse on me, but then gaining stats on my rings. I don't know, maybe that's the wrong call. Okay, well we definitely prefer the different reading we did for the mana. We definitely prefer this mana reading. So we'll stick with that for now. Sticking Sanctum of Thought back into the build. We're not really making use of the jump. Is there a way that we could make use of the jump? You could maybe... No, because I was going to say you could anoint this way and put the Timeless Jewel, then it bricks that. I think anointing it is really the way. I would say dropping... I think dropping Clever Construction and anointing Sanctum of Thought. Can you hit it with a very large Thread of Hope? Possibly. No. If you were to come down this way for Ancestral Bong, you can Thread of Hope it there. There are Thread of Hopes that hit it from here, but I don't know if there are... I think that's really your only option. But just hypothetically, if you were to route along this way, say you did the crit thing, you would take those nodes. You'd have to cut something pretty extreme somewhere else to fit it in. But let's say that you did it that way, right? So I think it's just a large Thread of Hope. Nope. Medium? Uh-oh. This doesn't look like it's gonna hit. Okay, medium hits it. You don't really get much else though. But you can get that. That Sanctuary doesn't get hit by it, annoyingly. But yeah, you can get that. You don't get the good mana node. You don't get Amplify. You're not channeling. You can get Arcane Capacitor, which is pretty good. You can also get both Divine Fury and Divine Wrath, which is actually pretty solid. And... if you were a channeling build, it'd be fine, because then you take a singular focus. And you'd be chilling, but you're not a channel build. But I guess, like, getting Divine Wrath, Divine Fury, and Sanctum of Thought's okay. It's a shame that you don't hit any of the really nice nodes in here. But, yeah. I'm not sure about the totems. I'm not sure about the totem scaling. I feel like I kind of feel like you just want to use the totems as just a utility thing. I think I prefer rooting it more like that. Obviously, you wouldn't actually take that cluster because it would get bricked by that. It's a 93 tree. Okay, well we've improved that a little bit by doing that swap. Is that node worth taking? It's a good node, 10% mana, 20 flat mana. It's pretty solid. It kind of sucks all of this like not taking life node stuff. I'm not a big fan of that. If you didn't want to take the AoE nodes, you could drop the AoE nodes, and that'd be like a level 90 tree. And you'd have 5.5k life, 5.3k mana, 1.6 ES. You'd actually have bigger blade blast damage, but I'm guessing we've dropped quite a lot of blade fall damage because we dropped all the totem nodes. 34k. Yeah. 46. It's tricky. Tricky. Let's look over the Lynx gun. Bladeful control destruction, multi-totems, empower, conk effect, brutality. Powerful. Is it a +1 chest? No. Is being powerful really the best thing there? Could drop mana from there. 4k is enough to get auras and focus on reserves is enough for mom. I'm curious to see how other people are doing this. Alright, let's have a look. See. Ooh, what is it? Okay. Why is my PV ninja being what? There's only one guy in Delirium? Okay, sure. Let me see anyone who's doing it with totems. 6% are doing it with totems. Haha, there's one of you. It's a Scion. Character not found. Ha, PV Ninja's broken right now. Great timing. Great timing. Right in the middle of recording a video. Perfect. Chat, can you see anything cool that we could do? I think sticking pure fizz is the right way to do it. I'd be tempted to go cold iron points. It's a big dipper increase. And like just stacking generic damage on both would be the way to go. I think I would probably go dual cold iron points or go for a crazy plus level staff. And then you have 2 6-links. You lose crit, but you've still got enough crit. And they've got some crit on the implicit. I still think Black Cane. What's he benefiting from Black Cane? I've never actually used Black Cane, so. Phantasm's grant the thing. Yeah. Resist a rough. You can make up for the resists pretty easily, to be honest. Like, it's not that big of a deal getting the resists, because you can get resist on your jewels if need be. You can... Are you near any good aura stuff? It feels really wrong to me not going into Retribution. Like, not going into Templar feels so weird. It feels really weird not going into Retribution. It might be better than Shadow Start. What if you did a Thread of Hope here? Maybe a Thread of Hope here is the way. Because there are you can Thread of Hope, Clever Construction. You can Thread of Hope Saboteur. You can Thread of Hope Assassination. It hits Will of Blades. It hits Master of Force. It's the one above that. So you can do large Thread of Hope for Assassination, Will of Blades, Master of Force, and you don't need the Pierce, and you don't need Devastating Devices. Doesn't quite hit that one, annoyingly. Does hit Blast Cascade if you wanted Power Charge generation. If you wanted to generate power charges from your traps, you could do that for 1 point. It's pretty good. You get to drop that, take that, take that. Did the medium not hit it? And the medium's just shy of it. That's lame. But you could just get like a stacked res jewel there. Like that could just be life double auras. Like life auras cold and fire or something. Which should be fine. I mean, Shadows gives you a lot of crit, because you get Doomcast, and then Assassination, and Trickery. Like, that's a lot of crit chance right there. But you could potentially drop all of that, and instead come along the top here, and take Arcane Potency, Purity of Flesh, Ancestral Bond, and Thingy. So you could do it kind of like this. Again, you can cut these nodes, I'm always going to fill them in there. Just increase Fizz damage is decent, actually. It also gives us 20 strength. Yeah, we would take that. I also think that AoE might be the right way to go. I don't know if not having AoE is a bad thing. Also, if you went for a staff, you could then take Serpent Stance, which is something that you talked about maybe doing. And then if you wanted to, you could do that. Right. And then cut across. You said you wanted to take the crit staff. One, two, yes, whatever. $79, and then you'd go harder on mine of them, on mana clusters. I'm not taking any more submissions today, Rich, sorry. But you can submit for next week. I do these every Wednesday. And then if you wanted to jump to Shadow, you could do that. And then you could, if you still wanted to route along the bottom, you could do that. I mean, that looks better to me than... Because at least then you're making... If you're doing this tree, at least you're making use of the jump to shadow. And then if you're not playing staff, I guess you'd drop serpent stance. You could go 1 point there, 2 points there. Maybe take the cast speed. Be a really good DPS. You haven't really got much cast speed for your build. Like your blade fall's going to be really slugging. The problem is if you're scaling cast speed, the cast speed doesn't scale the blade blast on your traps, which is rough. This could almost justify cooldown point and dropping crit. You don't need to drop the crit. I mean, this tree is as much crit chance as your default tree. But you could make... Like, going non-crit feels bad because Elite Overloaded doesn't boost your damage at all. So I would always go crit with cooldown point. I would never go non-crit cooldown point. But that looks okay-ish to me. I'd probably want to just root through the damage here there. It's a 92 tree, which is fine. Maybe take Soul Siphon, like a 94 tree. 5.6k life, 4.5k mana. I know what you're going to do. You're then going to cut all the life nodes and then put, like, primal stuff back in, or take Temple Zeal back in or something. I don't know. You'd go for a multi-nut crap. That's the 95 tree. That looks okay to me. That I like for non-totems. You have the issue... You can still fit a Timeless Jewel into the build. You take these 3 points. And then shove Avatar of Fire in there. Which is fine. You're not losing anything. You then just need to cut points. So you need to go back to 1, 2. And cut those 2 points. So back to 95 tree. So you could do that. And shove the Timeless Jewel in there. You're not losing anything. So you've kept your Timeless Jewel. Obviously that wouldn't be a Thread of Hope because we're not Thread of Hoping anything there. It might just be a life crit jewel or life resists or whatever. So yeah, I'd either go for a trio which looks kind of like that. That and drop the whole scaling the totems and just scale more down the middle. Or at the very least stick with this tree but just take the slightly cleaned up routing we did. Yeah. Kind of dig it. Could just root through this because it's still damage. I've been playing a lot of non-spell damage builds recently, so that might just be better to root through the damage. It's more points though. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of dig it. I think it's interesting, and interesting is always fun. Don't necessarily know if there's anything else that I could suggest at this point. Look into cooldown points. Look into just a plus level staff, and run 2 6 links. Rather than just running trap gloves, you could just run Deerstalkers, because your boots weren't anything too special, and Deerstalkers are really good boots actually, because they give trap throwing speed, and you've got like no trap throwing speed in your build. They give movement speed, and they still give 30% movement speed if you've thrown a trap recently. You should have always thrown a trap. They're also cheap to double corrupt, and things that you can double corrupt on boots. Boots corruptions. PoE. Let's have a look. What can you get on boots? There's a better way of doing this. Corrupt. There you go. Let's see. You can get plus level of AoE gems, which could be good for you. You could get... It's not a duration. It's not a trap gem because Blade Blast isn't a trap, but you could get plus 2 to AoE. You could get % life. You could get additional % movement speed. You could get spell dodge. You could get minimum endurance charges. They're very cheap. You could just buy a bunch of them, spam double corrupt. Could be decent. Ooh, one thing that you don't have on your build, which you should 100% have on your build, is crit if you haven't crit recently. You would have to drop the trigger wand, because your trigger wand would ruin it, but if you went cold down points, you wouldn't have a trigger wand anyway. But on boots, you can get up to a 120% crit chance if you haven't crit recently. If you're using totems and you're using traps, you're not the one critting, so it's always active. 120% crit is very, very strong as a boot enchant. It will even out your crit chance really nicely. Puts you at a base 45, puts you at effective 69. Nice. Yeah, I would say go for that. I would definitely say go for that. I'm kind of happy with where we sort of settled on. I don't know if I would do the whole Ancestral Bond thing, but I like it conceptually. I like my tree the most, because of course I do, I made it. I would be tempted to experiment with this kind of a build. I would be very tempted to try just going self-cast Blade Blast, and dropping the trap setup completely. You could get a pair of... I mean, another thing you could do, if you wanted to really like throw your build all over the place, is keep the totems, but have them as pure utility, right? And run Bladeful totems. So Bladeful, Spell Totem, Multi-Totem, Faster Casting, in a pair of 30% more attack and cast speed gloves from Essences, and then run a 6-link Blade Blast in your chest. And it just spam lays the floor with Bladefuls, and you press your button, it's like... Yeah? I don't know. But yeah. Hopefully that's helped a little bit. I would like to thank you for sending me an interesting build. It's been a while since we've had a really interesting one. This is definitely the most interesting one of the day. Hopefully I gave you some more ideas. And, yeah. I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.